Ivermectin, because you're a retard. Because you're retarded. Ivermectin. You're retarded and you want your family to suffer too. You've decided to hell with the medical establishment. Here's some random shit I read about on the internet. That'll show them. Trodelvy. Ivermectin. You're not a horse. Let me think. How many COVID shots have I gotten? I got the first one. Was the first one a 2-shot regimen? Or was it a 1-shot regimen? I don't even remember. It would be funny to fund a commercial like that was like a fake drug. It'd be like kind of insulting. Okay, yes, I thought it was 2 shots. And I'm just trying to remember, like, I really did not enjoy the vaccine. It was really harsh on... Yeah, I mean, look, these vaccines aren't that good, but they're not bad for you. They're just not that protective. But you can't be scared of a little RNA, I mean. This shit is not dangerous. I think it's a lot of anti-science, anti-rational, anti-authority, which I am very anti-authority. But it's kind of like one of those things where somebody says, like you're a kid, somebody says, do X. No, I'm not going to do X. Why not? Because you told me to, so I'm not going to do it. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, most of these vaccines are very, 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 very safe because you only take them once. I mean, human body is pretty indestructible. You don't. Oh wow, huge growth continued for. I wonder how big Tarvey is still growing this much. It's kind of fucking crazy. 13.4 billion TTM. Yeah, I mean, they're just not dangerous, Any drug you take once is like almost impossible for it to be dangerous. Drugs can sometimes be dangerous because you take them over and over and over again every day for the rest of your life. But drugs that you don't have to take every day, like vaccines, is like literally almost nothing bad that can happen. I think people just have this like very self-centered view, as they should. It's their health, so. But it's like you got much greater health challenges than the potential vaccine side effects. There's a lot of things that could go wrong with your health. Vaccine side effects, not really one of them. Yeah, exactly. Luca said it exactly right. When you don't trust the government and they tell you to do something, you basically don't want to do it no matter what. And, that makes sense to me. I went to jail. I mean, I don't trust the government at all, but I know a lot about vaccines and, there's just not much to the fears. Change your genotype. It would be pretty hard for that to happen. It's kind of a one-directional flow from DNA, which is your genes, to RNA, which is this like intermediate. This is called does anybody know what this is called? protein. Anybody know what this is called? The canon, the central dogma of biology. Yep. So this kind of gets left alone, but in this sort of factory, you can sneak in some, you sort of sneaking in some, I mean, you got billions of these things, right? Per second being translated to proteins, literally billions. So you just sneak in some of the COVID RNA and you get the protein, you make an immune response to the protein, and you're vaccinated. And that's really it. Now you can give a protein vaccine too, and there's a bunch of those out there. I think J&J's is a protein vaccine. I think the COVID vaccine was probably the most tested vaccine of all time. Those trials were massive, like 50,000 patients or more. Never see a clinical trial that big. I think they did a good job testing it. I was just surprised it worked, honestly. Like, I was really surprised it worked because the data is like almost like too good to be true. It's like, and then in the real world, it didn't. The data was like not that good. So, but, well, you know, your mind can play tricks on you. I don't think your heart was racing because you took the vaccine. You know, the vaccine has 30 micrograms of RNA. So microgram is a very small amount. That's a millionth, right? One millionth of a gram. So you're really talking about like maybe a couple grains of sugar, like three grains of salt or sugar. I mean, if you think that's that dangerous, that's a, yeah, I don't think it's possible that if you getting an intramuscular injection of RNA would result in you feeling weird or something like that. Like people, you know, when you get stabbed, I mean, you're getting literally stabbed. Yeah, lots of things happen. I mean, you get anxiety, things like that. I mean, that's normal. A lot of adults don't take vaccines regularly, so, you know, of course it's going to feel weird, but it's not what's inside the vaccine. Yeah, it's very hard for there to be too many long-term side effects because I want to say within seconds, all the vaccine's gone. So like by the time the day has passed, there's no vaccine left. So it's hard for it to cause these really big long-term side effects. Now, the antigenicity could, you know, theoretically have some kind of like crosstalk, but I don't know. It's not something I worry about. And you know, you guys remember me following the cassava saga. I mean, I'm a bloodhound when it comes to these like little inaccuracies. I'm a beast. I would tear that shit apart if I saw some problem, but look, unless they're lying, you know, that's the other option. Is like I said, that data was so good. The New England Journal data. It's just like, I almost dropped my New England Journal. I was like, no fucking way it works this well? Because I thought maybe you could get 50% protection or something like that, but it's like 95% protection or something. It's insane. Well, if you cut your dividend and everyone thought you were going to cut your dividend, then it's kind of a nothing burger because the company maybe wasn't doing well, and I'm surprised that they're cutting it, for example. That would be one way. It's asymptomatic? That's interesting. I didn't hear that. I thought it was still pretty bad, but I know the other coronaviruses and stuff like that are not too bad. Yeah, you can't rewrite DNA with RNA. That's a tough one, especially with such a small amount. And remember, the funny thing about that RNA is that most of it's like degraded and lost by the time it gets to the liver. A lot of it'll like end up sort of stuck in the little pool in your arm before it gets degraded. It's not, it's not an IV, so it still has to kind of go through the muscle. And it's in a lipo-nanoparticle. And the only thing that takes up the lipo-nanoparticle is the liver. Well, I got good news. The liver is like indestructible. It's like literally your body's, toxic waste disposal. It's got every Swiss Army knife to dispose of waste. So your liver is not going to get damaged. Like your liver's job is to take damage. Like your liver takes it on the chin when you go out drinking with the boys, right? Your liver takes it on the chin when you eat some really weird shit and have food poisoning. So there's no real risk from that. The liver will take that RNA and turn some of it into protein, but there's also, tons of proteases and nucleases. The nucleases and proteases are cutting up that RNA very quickly. Because you're not supposed to really have RNA coming from outside inside, but that's what happens every time you get infected. So it's pretty antigenic. It's such a strong immune response. I was shocked. I did not enjoy it. There were many classical vaccines developed, the Johnson & Johnson, the AstraZeneca. In fact, I think there were more classical protein vaccines than there were mRNA vaccines. mRNA had never succeeded, so I was like super skeptical, and I was wrong. It seems to have worked. Yeah, it's unfortunate that not enough people took it, so that there wasn't a chance to get great immunity. And then sometimes with vaccines, it's just bad luck. Like you don't get the virus kind of behaving the way you want it. So mutations will generally weaken the virus, but you'll also kind of like, the vaccine will lose efficacy. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on COVID. I didn't get any boosters, for what it's worth. I just hate vaccines in general. Yeah, the liver thing I've been talking about is really a big drawback, because if you can only send stuff to the liver, there's only so many liver diseases. So you can't cure a lung disease if the drug's only, oh great, ever going to liver. I gotta go, guys. I'll be back. My guest is here.